Hello, I received a homework question on how to simplify a rational expression with these polynomials in the top and the bottom that have four terms. It may be the first thing that we want to do to just say, well, this x and this y can go with this x and this y. And that x goes here, and that x goes there, and that y goes there, and that y goes there, and then I just have a bunch of constants that I need to simplify. We cannot do that. Reducing fractions across addition and subtraction won't actually work mathematically. We will not get an equivalent fraction. The fundamental property of fractions requires that we use multiplication and division to be able to simplify or build up fractions. So we can't go across addition and subtraction. That means in order to do this kind of problem, we're going to have to factor the numerator and denominator into products so that we can go across multiplication to reduce our fraction. So I'm going to use the grouping method to factor the numerator. I'm going to take x out of the first two terms. So this is x times 7y plus 2. And in the last two terms, I see I have the 7y and 2, but they're negatives, so I'll factor out a negative 1, 7y plus 2. There's more work to do there, but I want to rewrite the denominator. 5xy plus x minus 5y minus 1. Alright, so from the numerator, I need to factor out that 7y plus 2. So if I take out 7y plus 2, that would leave me with an x here and a negative 1 here. So I'm going to have x minus 1 left over. And I can see if I take the 7y plus 2 and distribute it, that would give me x times 7y plus 2 and negative 1 times 7y plus 2. So I get back up to this original line. Now I'm going to divide by the numerator. The denominator, 5x y plus x minus 5y minus 1. Okay, so now I'm going to factor the denominator in the exact same way and hope that I have factors in common between the denominator and numerator so that I can reduce the fraction. So from the first term, I'm going to factor out an x again from the first two terms. This is the numerator, 7y plus 2 times x minus 1. And factoring out the x in the denominator, I have x times 5y plus x. And then from these two terms, that is a 5y plus 1. There we go. Then from these two terms, I have a 5y and a 1. They're both negative, and I want to make them positive, so I'm going to factor out that negative 1, and that would give me 5y plus 1, just like I have in that first term. So that means that I can factor out the 5y plus 1. This would give me 7y plus 2 x minus 1 over the denominator of 5y plus 1 times x minus 1. And I can see if I distribute the 5y plus 1, I would get x times 5y and negative 1 times 5y plus 1. So now that I've completely factored the numerator and denominator, I'm going to look for my common factors. The fundamental property of fractions tells me that I can reduce across multiplication and division. So that means that these x minus 1s would reduce together. And that means that my final solution would be, let's choose a different color so we can do it dramatically, pretty blue, equals 7y plus 2 over 5y plus 1. And remember, my inclination might be to do this, these y's can go together, and I really get 9 over 6, and then that would reduce further. But the fundamental property of fractions says that I can only reduce or build up fractions using multiplication and division. I cannot go across these addition signs. So this is, in fact, our most reduced fraction.